The afternoon sun slanted through the curtains, casting long shadows across the bedroom as Folake stood before her husband, her heart hammering against her ribs. Folake pleaded, "Adebayo, why? Why do you let your family treat me this way?" Adabio stood with his arms crossed over his crisp blue agbada, his face cold as carved ebony, still handsome, but hardened by something cold that had been growing between them for months. The distance between them was vast, though they stood merely an arm's length apart. Folake had tried everything to make him understand her pain, tears, reasoning, even the silent treatment, but today nothing seemed real anymore. Folake whispered, her voice pained. "When did I become God? To command my womb to bear a child. 6 years of marriage. 6 years of whispered prayers in the dark. 6 years of doctors shaking their heads. 6 years of bitter herbs and church miracles that never came. And now, Adabio was no longer the man who had once written her love poems. He was a stranger with disappointment clouding his eyes. Adabio said harshly, "That's your problem, not mine, and I'm done with this marriage. I want a divorce." The word divorce hit Folake like a storm. Could love really end here? Folake's voice broke as she said, "You can't mean that." But Adabio's face was empty. No love, no regret, only cold finality. He said, his voice sharp and cutting, "I need an heir. I need a real wife." Folake's fingers gripped the dresser harder, her knuckles whitening. The framed photo of their wedding day stared back at her, both of them beaming, her white dress brilliant against his dark suit, his arm protective around her waist. Where had those people gone? Folake pleaded, her voice breaking. "We haven't tried everything. The doctor said there's still hope." Adabio stepped back as if her touch might contaminate him, his lip curling slightly as he said bitterly, "I'm not wasting another kobo on your empty womb. You are not a complete woman. I regret every penny I spent on our wedding." His words cut deeper than any physical blow could have. Folake felt them slice through her, leaving her bleeding inside where no one could see. Without another look, Adabio grabbed his keys from the bedside table and walked out, the door closing behind him with a quiet click that somehow hurt more than if he had slammed it. She stood frozen for a moment, listening to his footsteps fade down the hallway, then the sound of the front door, then the start of his car engine. Only when the sound had completely disappeared did she allow herself to move. Folake sank onto their bed, the mattress still indented on his side, and finally let the tears come. They rolled down her cheeks silently at first, then in great heaving sobs that shook her entire body. She curled into herself, arms wrapped around her middle, as if to hold together the pieces of her breaking heart. Folake whispered through tears, "Why, Lord? What did I do to deserve this pain?" The first month after Adabio left was the hardest. Folake barely ate, barely slept. Her friend Busy came every day, forcing her to eat, praying with her. "God has not forgotten you," Busy would say. "This pain has a purpose." Folake didn't believe her, not then, but slowly, day by day, she found the strength to get up, to face the world again. "I need to do something," she told Busy one morning. "I can't just sit here and waste away." Folake had always been good with clothes. Even Adabio's mother, who hated everything about her, had praised her sense of style. With the little money she had saved, Folake bought a sewing machine. She started small, making clothes for Busy, for neighbors. Word spread. Orders came in. 6 months after Adabio left, Folake rented a tiny shop. Folake's Elegance, she named it, though she felt anything but elegant inside. The day she opened her shop, she heard the news. Adabio was getting married again, to Lola, a girl barely 22 years old. She's young, fertile, people whispered when they thought Folake couldn't hear. She'll give him the children Folake couldn't. That night, Folake cried again. But these tears felt different. They washed away something old, making room for something new. God, I don't understand your plan, she prayed, but I trust you have one. Adabio's wedding to Lola was the talk of the town. His family threw a huge party. Finally, our son has a real wife, his mother announced to the guests. Soon we will have grandchildren to carry on our name. Adabio smiled, proud and sure. Lola, young and beautiful, hung on his arm like a prize. No one invited Folake, but everyone talked about her. Poor barren woman, they said, replaced so quickly. But Folake wasn't listening to their talk anymore. Her shop was doing well. She had hired 2 assistants, and she had met someone, Olumidi, a kind businessman who had come to buy a dress for his sister. You have a gift, he told her on their first date. Your designs speak to people. For the first time in years, Folake felt seen for who she was, not judged for what she couldn't do. When Olumidi proposed 6 months later, Folake hesitated. I may not be able to give you children, she told him honestly. Olumidi took her hands in his. I'm marrying you, Folake, not your womb. If God blesses us with children, wonderful. If not, you are enough. Folake cried then, tears of joy, of healing, of hope. They married quietly, with just close friends present, no big announcement, no town gossip. And then a miracle happened. 3 months after their wedding, Folake missed her period. It can't be, she whispered, afraid to hope. But it was. The doctor confirmed it, and when the ultrasound showed not 1, but 2 tiny heartbeats, Folake fell to her knees. Twins, the doctor said, smiling. Perfectly healthy. God is faithful, Olumidi said, tears in his eyes. He makes all things beautiful in his time. 2 years passed. Folake's shop had grown into a boutique in a fancy part of town. Her designs were worn by celebrities, and her twins, Taiwo and Kehinde, brought joy to every day. Meanwhile, across town, Adabio was growing impatient. Lola had promised him children, yet after 2 years, her belly remained flat. What's wrong with you? He demanded one night. My first wife was barren, and now you too? Lola tossed her hair. Nothing's wrong with me. Maybe you should check yourself before blaming me. Adabio slapped her. Lola threatened to leave. His mother intervened. Give it time, she said. Some women take longer. Then suddenly, Lola announced she was pregnant. Adabio was overjoyed. His family celebrated. His mother went around telling everyone that her son would finally have an heir. See? I knew she was a real woman, she boasted. When Lola was 5 months along, she wanted new clothes for her growing belly. I heard that woman, your ex, has a shop with maternity clothes, she told Adabio. Let's go there. I want to see her face when she sees me carrying your child. Adabio hesitated, but Lola insisted. Are you afraid to see her, or afraid for her to see me? His pride wounded, Adabio agreed. The bell above the door of Folake's elegance chimed. Folake looked up from where she was helping a customer. Her heart stopped. Adabio stood in the doorway, his arm around a young woman whose pregnant belly pushed against her tight dress. Lola, the woman he had married after leaving Folake. Folake, Adabio said, his voice full of fake politeness. I heard your shop was doing well. Lola needs maternity clothes. Lola smiled smugly, rubbing her belly. Only the best for Adabio's heir. We're having a boy, you know. The son you couldn't give him. Folake was about to respond when a small voice called out, "Mama! Look what I made!" 2-year-old Taiwo ran from the back room, holding a drawing. His sister Kehinde followed close behind. Adabio froze. His eyes widened as he stared at the twins. "You have children?" he stammered, his confident mask slipping. Folake nodded, a calm smile on her face. "Yes, my husband Olumidi and I were blessed with twins 2 years ago." "Husband?" Adabio's voice cracked. "We met right here in this shop," Folake said simply. "God brought him into my life when I needed him most." Adabio's face darkened as he stared at the twins. "How convenient that you suddenly could have children after our marriage ended." Folake said nothing, just picked up Kehinde, who was tugging at her skirt. The little girl's face was so much like her father Olumide's, the same kind eyes, the same gentle smile. Lola, uncomfortable with the attention on Folake's children, pulled at Adabio's arm. "Let's go somewhere else. I don't like the styles here anyway." "I think she is lying. The children may not be hers." As they turned to leave, Folake finally spoke. "Adabio!" He turned back. "I hope your child brings you joy," she said softly. "Children are a blessing from God." Something in her tone made Adabio pause, but Lola dragged him out the door. 2 weeks later, Adabio took Lola for her checkup. The doctor was an old school friend of his, Dr. Kolade. "Everything looks good, doctor," Kolade said after examining Lola. "The baby is developing well." Lola smiled triumphantly at Adabio. "See? Perfect, just like I said." Dr. Kolade looked confused. "Would you like to know the sex? It's clear on the ultrasound." "We already know it's a boy," Adabio said proudly. The doctor frowned. "No, it's definitely a girl." Lola's face paled. "That's impossible. The other doctor said—" "What other doctor?" Adabio demanded. Lola stammered. I went for a private scan. I wanted to surprise you." Dr. Kolade looked uncomfortable. "I'll give you two a moment," he said, stepping out. But before he left, he touched Adabio's shoulder. "Can I speak with you privately first?" Medical matter. In the hallway, Dr. Collard looked troubled. "Adabio, I wasn't going to bring this up, but as your friend, have you had fertility testing?" Adabio stiffened. "Why would I need that? My wife is pregnant." Dr. Colladi hesitated. "Last year, when you came in for your physical, I ran standard tests. Your results showed azoospermia, no sperm in your semen. It's a condition you've likely had since birth." Adabio felt the floor tilt beneath him. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Dr. Collade said gently, "that medically you cannot father children. You never could." Adabio's mind raced back to Folake, to the years of blame, to the twins in her shop. "That's impossible," he whispered. "I'm sorry, doctor," Collade said, "but if Lola is pregnant—" He didn't need to finish the sentence. Adabio understood. Adabio drove home in silence, Lola chattering nervously beside him. "The doctor must be wrong about it being a girl. We'll get another opinion." "Who is the father?" Adabio cut her off, his voice deadly quiet. Lola froze. "What? Don't be ridiculous. You're the father." Adabio slammed on the brakes, pulling over to the side of the road. "I cannot have children," he shouted. "I just found out I've been sterile my whole life. So I'll ask you one more time. Who is the father of that baby?" Lola's face crumpled, then hardened. "Fine, it's Emeka's, my ex. We never really stopped seeing each other." Adabio felt like he'd been punched. All this time? What did you expect? Lola spat. You married me for my womb. I married you for your money. At least Emeka loves me. Adabio laughed bitterly. Does he know about the baby? Of course, he's excited. Unlike you, he's a real man who actually cares about me, not just what I can give him. The words hit too close to home. Hadn't he treated Folake the same way? Get out, he said quietly. What? We're miles from— Get out of my car, he roared. Lola grabbed her purse and slammed the door behind her. Emeka will come for me, and you'll be alone, just like you deserve. For days, Adabio sat alone in his house, the truth crushing him. He had blamed Folake, humiliated her, divorced her, when the problem had been his all along, and she had known. She must have known when she saw him in the shop with Lola, yet she had said nothing, wished him joy. His mother called, demanding to know why Lola had moved out, why there was talk of the baby not being his. It's true, he told her flatly. I can't have children. I never could. All those years you tormented Folake. The problem was me. His mother went silent, then began to cry. What will people say? What about our family name? Adabio hung up. For the first time, he saw his mother's true concern, not his happiness, but appearances. After a week of sleepless nights, Adabio called Folake. I need to see you, he said when she answered. Please. Against her better judgment, she agreed to meet him at a quiet restaurant. When she arrived, Adabio barely recognized himself. He had lost weight, hadn't shaved, looked like a shadow of the proud man he once was. I got tested, he said as soon as she sat down. I can't have children. Never could. Folake said nothing, just watched him with calm eyes. All those years, his voice broke, I blamed you. Let my family torture you, when it was me all along. Did you ever consider getting tested back then? Folake asked quietly. Adabio shook his head. My pride wouldn't allow it. In my mind, the problem had to be you. Pride comes before a fall, Folake said softly. That's what the Bible says. Lola's baby isn't mine, Adabio continued. She's been cheating the whole time, with her ex. Folake felt no joy at his pain. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Adabio looked up, his eyes red. After how I treated you? Yes, Folake said simply. No one deserves that pain, not even you. Adabio stared at her in wonder. How can you be so at peace? I destroyed our marriage. I called you worthless. God restored what was broken, Folake said. Not the marriage, that was beyond repair, but me, my sense of worth, my joy. I've lost everything, Adabio whispered. My pride, my wife, my family's respect. Sometimes we need to lose everything to find what truly matters, Folake said. I was wrong, Folake, about everything. Adabio reached for her hand. Can you ever forgive me? Folake gently pulled her hand away. I forgave you long ago, Adabio. Not for you, but for me. I couldn't move forward while carrying that burden. Is there any chance? He began. No. Folake cut him off, gently but firmly. That door is closed forever. I have a husband who loves me for who I am, not what I can give him. I have beautiful children. I have peace. Adabio nodded, tears streaming down his face. I don't know how to start over. As Folake stood to leave, she said, start by making peace with yourself, then with God. The rest will follow. She walked away, back straight, head high. Not with pride, but with the quiet dignity of a woman who had walked through fire and emerged stronger on the other side. Behind her, Adabio remained at the table, a broken man facing the consequences of his actions. Weeks later, Folake appeared on television, her twins by her side, smiling with a new confidence that lit up the screen. The Folake Foundation she had began, a charity empowering women like her, was thriving. She no longer needed the approval of a man who had abandoned her. She was whole. She was enough. And the city of Lagos whispered her name with respect. Folakai's story is a powerful reminder that true strength comes from within, not from the approval of others. She taught us that faith, resilience, and love can turn even the darkest nights into the brightest dawns. No matter what storms life sends your way, remember, you are enough, you are worthy, and miracles can happen when you refuse to give up. If Folakai's journey touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories that inspire and uplift. And tell us in the comments, what lesson do you take from her story? Thank you so much for listening from wherever you are in the world. Much love.